This episode contains upsetting topics and is not suitable for anybody under the age of 18. Please proceed with caution. I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Nikki Druce.
And this is Killers, Cults and Queens.
The podcast where we journey to the spookiest, scariest and downright weirdest corners of the world.
Today, we're picking up with part 2 of the so-called most prolific serial killers in the United States of America, Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole.
This is not going to go well, is it?
His grandma was a Satanist.
What?
Auntie Chris!
It's me,
Todd Cranes!
It's not a healthy coping mechanism, is it?
No. Wrong!
Oh.
Are you ready?
As long as there's no eye popping in this one, then we'll be fine.
Maybe there's 2.
Oh no.
Let's go. When a man is arrested on a charge of an illegal firearm, no one could predict what would happen next. As the man is questioned by officers, his secrets begin to spill out as if he isn't in control. Soon, the police have not 1, not 2, but hundreds of confessions to unsolved murders from all over the USA. But was this a cold-blooded killer or just a fantasist with his head in the clouds? Welcome to Killers, Cults and Queens. But Nikki, my darling, how are you doing after part 1?
Slightly traumatised, I have to say, because as I mentioned, the eye popping thing, just I can't be doing with it. Can't be doing with anything to do with eyes. It makes me feel really sick.
But you know what you're doing to yourself, Nikki? You're keeping it in your head.
Oh, I am, aren't I?
We've just got to let it go, let it go. Can't think of the eyes anymore.
Yeah, you're right. I need to not think about it. Get rid of them. It's fine. I'm coping all right with it. We know that these first episodes are always going to be big whoppers of a case, and this one really wasn't it? So, yeah, but we've got new people to add to our shit list now. So Nellie's a new one that's on our shit list.
Nellie the bloody elephant.
Yeah, what a terrible woman. Terrible, terrible woman.
She was trash, and quite frankly, in the words of Chicago, she had it coming.
She had it coming. She only had
herself to blame. But we want to give a big thank you to Snag for sponsoring this series of Killers, Cults and Queens. If you want clothes which are stylish, good on everybody and everyday wear, then head to snagtights.com to get yourself kitted out. And divas, you won't regret it.
You really won't.
Now, last time we focused on the fucked up childhood of Henry Lee Lucas and met a family that can only be described as the idea behind the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or The Hills Have Eyes, because this lot are something else. And guess what? It doesn't get any better from here.
Oh, my spidey senses were tingling on that one.
Tingling? You were vibrating. So before we dive in, please be aware that this case contains discussion of some potentially distressing topics such as domestic abuse, sexual assault of adults and minors, torture and murder. So if that's not for you right now, please check out one of our lighter episodes or join us over on a spooky sleepover. So let's set the scene. It's late 1970s in Jacksonville, Florida. It's a hot, sticky day, and the smell inside the rescue mission kitchen is enough to turn anyone's stomach. It's a potent mix of cabbage soup, sweat, and stale coffee all hanging together in one pungent cloud. But for one man queuing up, this is his only option of getting a hot meal. He's new to the area and fresh out of prison. Tray in hand, he looks around for somewhere to sit and spots somebody on their own. He asks if he can take the seat, and the stranger gestures for him to sit down. The guy who's hungrily scoffing his food down has the look of somebody who has had a tough life. His hair is receding, his teeth have a large gap at the front, and his face looks weathered with a hint of stubble. But he gives him a welcoming smile that soon has the pair chatting away. They instantly connect, and before long, they both realise they have a connection which runs deeper than friendship. They are falling in love in a soup kitchen.
Aww.
But what did this pair discuss that made them realise that they were meant to be? Well, let's just say it's not your usual dinner date chat. This was something much darker. One has already killed his mother and walked out of prison years earlier than he should have. The other has been playing with fire his entire life. Houses, people, and getting his kicks from watching the destruction. Now, they wanted to watch the world burn together. But what happened to make these two men team up to be the most evil serial killers in history? And how would they go on to join a cult, allegedly murder hundreds of people, and carry out cannibalism, all while seemingly getting away with it? Let's find out.
Okay, well, that's a lot of things. A lot of things on the list. And I thought when you said he's been playing with fire, I thought you meant like metaphorically. You meant literally, didn't you? He's been playing with fire.
No end jobs here. No, I've been playing with fire. This is, I'm getting a match and I'm throwing that on the petrol station.
Oh dear, this is not good. So we're talking double murder and arsonist rolled into one, meeting another murderer. This is not going to go well, is it? This is not going to go well.
AA, arsonist arsehole, flip it around. Fuck off, wanker!
Okay, I'm ready.
So let's kick things off with a quick little refresher from part 1 of the story. And if you've not listened to that, then what the hell are you doing? You're going to be very confused. Go back and we'll meet you in a minute.
Yeah, we'll see you in a bit.
We learned all about Henry Lee Lucas and his incredibly messed up childhood growing up in the 1930s and 40s in Virginia, United States. At home, he suffered horrific abuse at the hands of his mother, Nellie Viola, who was an aggressive and violent drunk who carried out sex work at their home in front of their children. Give her the Mother of the Year award. We learned Henry was sexually and physically abused by his mum, and she neglected him so badly that she put him in a coma for 3 days and left him with an eye infection so bad it burst and lost his eye. Sorry,
There we go again.
I said there was no more eyes, but it's just in the recap.
Okay.
Henry's family life was so terrible, he took this learnt abuse out on the world. He said he committed his first murder when he was just 14 years old after picking up his victim, 17-year-old Laura, from a bus stop to give her a lift and then killed her and sexually abused the corpse. Given his childhood, Henry was always destined to be a criminal. He spent his teenage years and early adult life robbing, stealing and thieving whilst doing other jobs to pay on the side. Eventually, this all caught up with him and he was arrested by the Popo and sent down. But as you can always count on the US jail system during this time to just let dangerous people wander out onto the streets because of overcrowding, you guessed correctly, our pal Henry got off scot-free. Henry then moves in with his sister Opal, and his horrible mother also comes to stay. Now, this was fire meets gasoline, because from the second the pair reunited, they started arguing. This, of course, turns deadly when Nellie tries to beat Henry with a broom, but this time, Henry is big enough to fight back, and he beats her so badly that she bleeds to death. But he doesn't stick around to find out if she's dead. He's out of there, 5 hours away, famously. But the police find Henry and arrest him, and he's put away for attempted murder. Now, whilst inside, Henry gets a pen pal, Betty Crawford, and he, of course, moves in once he's released and marries her. But the marriage fails after a short while, as she accuses Henry of abusing her daughters from the previous marriage, and to escape potential prosecution, he ups, flees, and heads 1,000 miles away to Florida. You would think this was an opportunity for a brand new start, a brand new chapter, but no. Henry actually goes gay instead. And in Florida, of all places, how very political. He meets a man by the name Ottis Toole at a church soup kitchen, and it's safe to say that they were a match made in hell, and we will soon find out how that hellfire is burning.
It's not going to be a good outcome for anybody involved in this, is it? It's all going to be terrible things.
Now, we know all about Henry Lee Lucas, but let's just learn a little about Otis. Now, it'd be really easy to just copy and paste Henry's childhood right here. Both Otis and Henry had very similar childhoods, which led them to be horrible monsters. Otis was born on the 5th of March 1947 in Jacksonville, Florida, and things were a mess from the day he arrived. His father, whose name we don't know, was a violent alcoholic who didn't stick around long. His mother, Sarah, which this name pops up here and there in the records, but it's never been proven that that was her real name, so we're calling her Sarah, also seemed to have an issue with drink and drug problems and also mental health issues. Now, everything's a bit hazy as most of the records we have come directly from Otis himself, which doesn't make them the most reliable sources, but we know that this was not an easy childhood. This is a really difficult thing to hear, but Otis claims that he was sexually abused by many people in his life when he was as young as 5 years old. His stepfather allegedly sold him to men to do as they wanted with him, which is just outright disgusting.
It doesn't bear thinking about.
I know. During this time, Otis was also sent to school wearing girls' clothing, and his mother called him Susan. So you can trust and believe that when he and Henry met, they had a lot in common.
Yeah, that's quite a connection of circumstances that they've been through there, isn't it?
But that wasn't all. His older sister also started to engage in incestuous behaviour with Otis, and before long, they were having sex regularly.
What is it with these families? Guess there's no PlayStations back then.
Now might be a good time to also highlight that Otis was noted to have a lower than average IQ. So he may not have quite understood or respected normal boundaries, and also, let's face it, he didn't have a good role model setting some standards for him to learn from. Not long after that, he came out as gay to his family, and from there, the abuse only got worse. And surprise, surprise, they were homophobic and the abuse was rife. They were religious as hell. And so being gay was a big no-no from them.
You can't imagine that it was easy growing up in that household, that's for sure.
No. Now, this is where things get a little bit weirder for Otis. His grandma was a Satanist.
What? Okay, so this is a little bit of a handbrake turn, isn't it? Because he comes from a very religious household and then his gran is a Satanist. Okay.
Granny loves the dev.
All right, interesting. Continue.
Now, unlike most stereotypical grannies, she wasn't into knitting or baking Victoria sponges. She was into grave robbing.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it sounds like my gran.
Wow.
R.I.P. My gran was an interesting character who let me watch horror movies at the age of 10, so I can relate to having a gran that is not the standard model, I would say, but she wasn't grave robbing. I will make that clear.
Thank you. 'Cause you'll have to go to her grave and apologise.
Yes.
Now, Granny Satan would call Otis her little devil child, and she would take him out on grave robbing sessions. So, understandably, as soon as Otis was old enough to get the hell out of there, he did. As soon as Otis was a teenager, he was roaming around out and about in Florida's gay scene. He would go to gay bars, hang out, and soon worked out he could make money for sex work. But soon, this turned nasty. One night, Otis was picked up by a travelling salesman, and we don't know what quite happened, but there was a disagreement between the pair. So Otis threw the man out of his own car and used it to kill him by running over him several times.
Oh, was not expecting that one. That's a lot, isn't it?
I mean, look, I was a single girl once. I've had my fair share of hookups. I've had things go a bit awry once or twice. So obviously, Mr. Otis was just setting his boundaries with Mr. Businessman. But you didn't have to go and kill him.
You don't know quite what happened in that situation, do you? Whether it was self-defense or what was going on. Sounds like whatever it was, he needed to do something to get out of the situation. Murder is probably a step too far.
Now, we have no name for this man or any police work carried out upon this case, because, you know, homophobia. So we only have Otis's word to go on as to whether this actually happened. But again, this is exactly at the same time Henry was carrying out his first murder at 14. You can only imagine the getting to know you conversations when they first met was quite something.
Yeah, did you murder somebody when you were 14? Me too!
Both with cars? Fabulous!
Wow, wow, did you have to wear dresses to school?
Me too!
Wow.
Auntie Chris!
It's me,
Todd Cranes!
Oh dear. Oh no, Todd Cranes is back.
After the alleged murder, Otis seemed to just go off the radar. We have no real record of what he was up to for almost a decade, but he would later say he got really into arson during this time. So, that's a nice hobby to get into.
Yeah, just pick up a new hobby. What are you into this time? A little bit of crochet, maybe pot plants. No, arson. I'm just burning stuff down. Having a lovely time.
Bonfire night, 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
Basically, he just lives on the street, turns to begging, and doesn't really do much with his life apart from setting fire to things and maybe a few more murders. It's not a nice life to be living.
No.
But trauma has a response.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, his response is getting some gasolina and letting things burn.
Yeah. It's not a healthy coping mechanism, is it?
No. Whilst Otis has been living his life getting up to God knows what, he discovered something about himself. Remember when I said that Otis liked to set fire to things? Mm-hmm. Well, he really liked it. In fact, he would get sexually aroused by fire, and this would go on to shape his future crimes. I know.
Well, it's a fetish, I guess.
Yeah, and we don't fetish shame here at Killers, Cults and Queens.
No, but maybe if you are setting fire to things just to watch them burn to get your kicks, a little bit of shame on that.
Well, we don't kink shame unless your kink is causing a crime.
Yes.
As time passed, he also began to have violent fantasies about murdering people, which he played over and over in his head. It seemed it was only a matter of time before he would start making this a reality. Now, during the 1970s, Otis became known to the police as a general pain in the arse. He was setting fire to things, getting himself into trouble for petty crimes, and often was in and out of the police station. But in 1974, something changed. The police had pinned him as a prime suspect in a local murder. Somehow Otis found himself living in Nebraska, which is 1,000 miles away from Florida. But whilst here, seemingly because this is a more rural area, he was more noticeable to the police. When 24-year-old roller skating champion Patricia Webb was murdered inside an adult bookstore in 1967, Otis was at the top of the list of suspects. The adult bookstore was frowned upon by the local community. It's thought that Patricia's murder may have been carried out by a hitman, as she was acting as a paid police informer and was working undercover to reveal drug dealers.
Oh, she sounds fascinating.
I know, I wish we learnt more about her.
Yeah.
But was the hitman actually Otis? Or was this just a convenient person to point the finger at rather than uncovering the secret operation that the police had been working on?
Well, you might have a point there.
We'll go into more about that in a bit.
Okay.
And if this feels like we're moving a bit fast during this episode or missing out bits here and there, it's because we have, quite frankly, so much left to cover and only a short amount of time to do it.
Yeah.
With Otis becoming a known drifter, it seems he is racking up a bit more of murder accusations to his name, but it seems the police never had any evidence at all to pin him to the scene of the crime. But Otis knew it was only a matter of time before he was going to find himself behind bars, as the police had it out for him. So once again, he decides to skip town, and this time he's heading all the way back home to Florida. It takes Otis about 3 months to make the journey back to Jacksonville, but once he does, he decides to do something completely unexpected. He marries a woman.
A woman?
I know. Well, maybe he's the best of both worlds.
Maybe.
Maybe he's a Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Maybe he's Panny.
If he's found somebody that he loves and he's doing this out of good faith, then good on him.
So, with Otis entering into a lavender marriage despite his wife, Novella, which is a gorgeous name, by the way,
Gorgeous name.
thinking he was straight, things are fine. Well, for a couple of days. However, there should have been a few red flags from the start. This was a very fast turnaround from meeting to marriage. There was also a very large age gap. Novella was 25 years older than him. And finally, there was not really much going on in the bedroom.
Oh, okay. So that is a couple of red flags straight away, isn't it?
And that would be red flag number 1 for me. Rather unsurprisingly, the marriage only lasted just under a week, and the pair went their separate ways, which was lucky escape for Novella. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah, let's face it.
Now, here's where we pick up back with our introduction, when the two peas in their very rotten pod met each other. After Otis had been dumped by his fake wife, he was out on his ear again, and so started frequenting a local church soup kitchen for his daily meals. It was here he locked eyes with the new guy in town, Henry Lee Lucas, and what a sad day for the world that was. But they quickly started a relationship, and it was as if for the first time they'd met a kindred spirit, someone who truly got them, and all the fucked up things started to make sense.
You can see how it was a match made in hell, can't you? It must have been nice for them to meet somebody, because who else is going to have gone through such fucked up things as they've gone through? I can see how this would be, oh my God, I've met somebody that actually understands me and knows exactly what I've been through. So I can see how they got on like a house on fire, which is ironic.
Insert the Barbie meme. I'm just like you.
Yeah.
Just like me. We're as perfect as can be. They shared all the secrets with each other, and it was like they were standing in front of a mirror as their shared experiences were almost identical. But instead of this being a healing experience, it seemed to bring all of that bad stuff to the surface, and soon they were taking it out on other people.
Oh.
Now, out on the road, the two would go out in Otis's pickup truck and roam around the highways looking for trouble to get into. And by trouble to get into, I mean people to murder. So, who did they choose to kill? Well, to be honest, Nikki, it really didn't matter to them. They would just go after anyone and everyone they found who was either on their own or just a very vulnerable person.
Oh, dear.
They roamed across 26 states, killing people for almost 3 years. Their victims were just like them, people that would not have anybody looking for them. And that is so sad.
It is really sad, because you'd think that if they met each other, now they've got somebody to share all of this stuff with and that other person understands them,
Yeah.
that they might suddenly go, oh, well, actually, I don't need to get out all of this awful stuff anymore because I've got somebody that understands me. But then, if anything, it seems like it makes it 10 times worse, because now they're just reinforcing each other's trauma.
Now, we do need to fast forward here so we have a bit of context for all these supposed murders, because these were not things this duo were caught for at the time.
Right.
It's only when they both end up in prison separately for different crimes later down the line that this all starts to come out.
Okay.
So let's put a pin in the killing spree for now, because we need to go forwards before we can go backwards.
Okay, so
Very Back to the Future.
heading forwards in time now. All right.
Oh, yes. Get in the DeLorean.
Okay.
In 1978, Henry Lee Lucas is introduced to Otis's 15-year-old niece, Becky Powell. The two men used Becky, who had a learning difficulty, as a decoy. Surely, if these two guys had a little girl with them, they couldn't be up to anything bad, right?
No, I'm sure everything's perfectly fine.
Wrong!
Oh.
Becky would knock on doors and ask people to help with their supposed broken down car.
Oh.
And whilst they were busy helping with the car outside, Otis and Henry would sneak into the house and rob the people.
Oh, okay. At least they're just robbing them. I thought you said they were going to kill them.
No, not yet. We're just petty theft at the moment. Now, we know Henry was kicked out by his wife for abusing his young daughters from a previous marriage. And here we see the same pattern repeated. Poor 15-year-old Becky is groomed by 42-year-old Henry into thinking they are in a relationship. But this is obviously not love. It's a grown man taking advantage of a teenage girl with a learning difficulty.
He's just doing whatever he wants to do in this situation. She has no say whatsoever. She's a child.
After a little while, Otis begins to get jealous of Henry and Becky's so-called relationship, so he decides to go it alone and leave the pair to him. He then goes off on his supposed murderous rampage to show off how dangerous he is to Henry. Oh, I'm such a bad boy. But Henry wasn't scared. He was the real monster. Henry takes Becky to Texas, and whilst there, they discover sanctuary in a church where an 80-year-old widow by the name of Kate Rich takes them under her wing. Now, it's not for us to pass judgment on Kate Rich, but she doesn't ask any questions on the very strange age gap relationship, and instead just tries to get the pair to convert to the church.
Well, I am going to pass judgment on Kate Rich there, because I feel a bit like if there was an interesting relationship and an age gap, I would probably flag that, I think.
I think most people would, Nikki Druce.
Yeah, okay. So I'm judging Kate. I'm going to judge her.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Kate, you're being judged. For a little while, the odd couple lived in the town and Henry did some maintenance work in return for bed and board. But it was plain to see that things weren't right, but sadly, nobody stepped in to help Becky. Fuck you, Kate. Much like many of Henry's alleged victims, Becky was soon to suffer the same fate. Now, Henry says there was an argument which led to him killing Becky by stabbing her and then dismembering her body and then sexually assaulting her dead body.
It was a ticking time bomb, wasn't it? And she, unfortunately, couldn't notice that and was taken advantage of by him. And poor Becky. I feel really sorry for her.
Becky was buried in a field outside in a shallow grave by Henry. When Henry was then seen on his own in town, where he continued to stay, Kate asked about Becky, and he said she decided to leave and hitchhiked her way out of town.
Bullshit.
As it seemed Kate was asking too many questions, she also was murdered by Henry. Henry burned her body to get rid of the evidence, but nobody raised alarms as to Kate's disappearance. Henry then did what he does best. Skipped town, and off he went. Kate was 80 years old.
What was the point, really? Because she's 80. He could have just skipped town. Why did he just not leave? But for some reason, he's decided to kill this poor woman as well.
It's just a reflex for him at this point.
Yeah, he's just doing it because he enjoys killing, let's face it.
But where was Otis during all this time? Well, he had started a new relationship with a 65-year-old man named George Sonnenberg. But when they broke up, Otis locked George inside his house and set fire to it.
Oh.
Just set fire to the rain like Adele. Why'd you have to set fire to people's houses?
Oh, okay. It's a lot.
George was rescued from his house from the fire, but sadly died 3 days later from a combination of third-degree burns and smoke inhalation. Now, it seems nothing was done about this, and Otis was just left roaming about the streets. Hello, police? Where the fuck are you?
Just do what you want at this point, by the looks of it.
Finally, more than a year later, Otis was arrested, but not for the murder of George. It was for burning down another building.
What's he doing? He's just going from place to place and being like, another one. He's just DJ Khaled, but with arson.
Another one. Or, ding, another one. Thank you. Ding, another one. Thank you.
Oh no, this is bad.
So let's jump forward again 3 years when finally the police do their job and put Henry again behind bars, but not for reasons you'd suspect. He was caught with possession of a firearm, not for the countless murders he's just done.
Oh, no, let's not worry about those.
Just for a little pistol. Yeah. Now, since Otis was arrested, he had kept quiet about everyone he had allegedly killed. But as soon as Henry was behind bars, he started flapping his gums and everything started to come out the woodworks. Over the course of 1983, Henry Lee Lucas started confessing to a lot of murders, and the police ears began to prick up. See, they'd been getting in the neck for how crap of a job they've been doing. No shit, Sherlock. Like,
Yeah.
can't
sounds
solve
like
a crime.
Sounds like it.
And so when Henry opened his mouth, he started getting some perks for keeping talking. When the message got back to Otis that Henry was getting plenty of press attention, it was revealed that the prison was also giving him special treatment because more press brought in more money to the prison. The whole system's corrupt, let's call it.
Yeah, I know that I've said things are completely fucked, but they are fucked a lot in this episode, aren't they? They really are. Just so many different things lead into this to just make the whole situation terrible.
Mm-hmm. Soon the pair were playing a sick game where they were both admitting to crimes. Some were entirely impossible for them to have even carried out. In some cases, they were thousands of miles away at the time of the murder, but the police were just ticking it off that these were the men, it was done.
Yeah, fine.
No evidence whatsoever.
Whatever.
Yeah, another one solved.
Case closed.
They were eventually allowed to speak with each other on the phone, which was recorded for safety and security purposes. This captured important conversations which revealed the pair had been contract killers hired by a supposed cult. Oh! Killers, cults, and queens!
Oh, well, there we go. We're ticking them all off on the list.
Otis and Henry discussed the Hand of Death cult. They were sent out to carry out human sacrifices, and then they ate some of the bodies, partially to destroy the evidence, but also as ritual practice.
But how much of a body can you eat to destroy the evidence?
I don't know, a leg?
That would be a lot. That would really be a lot. Think about how many sandwiches a leg would make, especially mine.
I'm
Big thighs
hungry.
save lives.
I'm starving. Somebody get me to prep. Some specific murders were admitted to. Henry confessed to the murder of an unknown girl found raped and strangled in Georgetown, Texas in 1979. She was unidentified for so long that she came to be known as Orange Socks, the only item of clothing left on her when her body was found. She was identified much later as Deborah Jackson, but interestingly, when Henry confessed to the murder, he said her name was either Joni or Judy. Later DNA testing revealed that Henry wasn't a match and the case remains unsolved, but Henry was convicted of her murder on his confessions alone and sentenced to death. Now, after Henry confessed to killing Becky Powell, the police did go and have a look and uncovered some remains, but they couldn't identify them, but they were thought of to be of a girl aged between 15 and 17 years old. Henry also said where Kate Rich's body had been burnt, and he said where they would find her clothes and her handbag. The police found all of this, and this was enough for a match. They convicted him for that one. Slow clap for the police. So why not have the same outcome for Becky? Well, if the police admitted to that one, they then had not one but two murders on their hands they hadn't even noticed had happened. It's not looking good for them.
No.
But the police weren't interested in the pair's actual crimes. They just wanted to pin as many unsolved murders on Otis and Henry so they could clear the Argos catalogue of things that they haven't been bothered to do. One confession Otis made was to the murder of Adam Walsh. Now, this is a really dark one, so brace yourself. Adam was a 6-year-old boy who Otis said he had kidnapped from a shopping centre car park. He then drove away, and after a while, when the boy wouldn't stop crying, he punched him in the face, which knocked him out. He then decapitated him, kept his head in his car for a while, and forgot about it, but then later dumped it in a nearby canal, which was later found. It's fucked.
How do you forget somebody's head in your car?
Well, he could be hoarders buried alive. It could be under a load of Burger King wrappers.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of getting that vibe from this guy, to be honest. Yeah. Ugh. Horrible.
Adam's father, John Walsh, would later go on to become the host of America's Most Wanted, as he was forever seeking justice for his son, which wouldn't anybody do. So, what did the killer couple actually get sentenced with? Well, Otis was convicted of 6 murders. Eventually, one of these was George Sonnenberg, and he was given 2 death sentences. Henry was convicted of 11 murders. Eventually, Becky Powell was added to his convictions, thankfully, and given the death sentence. However, after his many convictions, it was discovered that one confession he made was almost word for word with a police file that he had been given a copy to read. So this just highlighted that perhaps the police had just been using Henry to clear their records.
Well,
fucking twats.
sounds like it, doesn't it? It sounds like, well, it's just much easier to go, oh, yeah, Henry did it. Yeah, no, that one, also Henry. Yeah, that one that he was thousands of miles away for, Henry. This is not a good way to solve crimes.
Now, in 1998, this turn of events actually caused George W. Bush to carry out his first and only commuted sentence to change Henry's death sentence to life imprisonment. But as it turns out, that life sentence wouldn't be very long.
Oh.
Henry Lee Lucas died from congestive heart failure in his cell just 3 years later in 2001. He was just 64 years old.
Didn't really serve the time then, did he?
He did the crimes, didn't serve the times. Otis was on death row in Florida, and when he was first placed in the secure unit, his neighbour opposite his cell was Ted Bundy. I'd like to think that the pair were, like, terrified of each other.
Yeah.
But to be terrified, you've got to feel something.
Well, yeah, and let's face it, these two probably didn't have feelings.
No, not at all. Due to his low IQ and suspected learning disability, his death sentences were changed to life in prison. Otis died in prison in 1996 from liver failure at 49 years old.
It's no age, but I can't say that I feel too sad about that situation, to be honest.
Not worth dwelling on it.
No.
Overall, the two men confessed to a combined number of close to 300 victims. But was this an accurate number, or is it just because every time they open their mouths, they got attention that they've been so desperately seeking for their whole lives? They both had horrendous childhoods and experienced things that no kid ever should. When they met, they combined the forces for evil and not for good, but as bad as they were equally exploited by people who were meant to protect them and used to clear their names of potentially hundreds of murders. Meaning the families of those victims never received the true justice they deserved. So, if we've learned anything from this case, it's this. There's bad people out there in this world, and sometimes the ones who are meant to protect you are actually 10 times worse. And that, Nikki Druce, is the case of Henry Lee Lucas and Otis Toole, the confession killers.
Wowee. What a two-parter to start with, eh?
Uh-huh.
That is not one, but two serial killers joining forces to then become absolutely evil people. And then you throw in the police misconduct as well, and finding out that they had been feeding Henry this information so he could confess to crimes because he was getting a nicer life in prison for it. Mm-hmm. It's not right, is it?
It's not right, and it's not okay.
No.
But I also do think there's a sprinkle of homophobia from the police with all this.
Oh,
they're just like,
1000%.
down with you, down with you, down with you. It's the easy finger to point, especially when they're just opening their gobs. They're just fish waiting to be caught.
And we know that some of these crimes as well weren't investigated because it was happening in the gay community. And so therefore they were like, oh, well, no, actually, we don't care about those people, so we're not going to bother looking into the crime.
And unfortunately, that was just what it was at the time. And
still is to this day.
And still is happening to this day, which I'm sure we will cover cases like this in the future. But I thought, what a banger to kick off season 5.
Yes. A tricky one, but one that we have been wanting to tell for a little while, so I'm glad we finally gotten around to it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm so excited to hear what you all thought of it at home. So please let us know your thoughts, your feelings, and everything in between on this case.
Please do.
Coming Coming up next time on Killers, Cults and Queens.
We'll be exploring the internet lockdown craze that resulted in real-life horror. We're exploring the weird world of the Randonautica app. So make sure you tune in next time to find out more.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next Monday for a brand new case.
And we want to hear from you. We'll be discussing your thoughts and theories this Friday on the Spooky Sleepover bonus show. So pop us an email at killerscultsqueens@gmail.com.
Or DM us at Killers Cults Queens on Instagram, join us over on Spotify, or send us a message on the Patreon. We do see everything and we reply as much as we can.
And thanks to Snag for sponsoring this series. Please make sure you support them back by going to www.snagtights.com. If you've been affected by any of the themes in this episode, please have a look at the description for lots of helpful resources.
Remember, you can watch our full-length episodes on YouTube and on our Spotify, or you could join us over on our Patreon at patreon.com/Killers Cults Queens for exclusive and ad-free content.
See you next time. Don't be a killer or join a cult.
Just be a queen. Goodbye, Jeevers.
Goodbye.